It's certainly a joy and a privilege. Good evening, everybody.
Good evening, sir.
My joy, my privilege to be in this honorable company.
You get to everywhere.
I have a little time to speak, so I'm going to get right into it. I'm reminded of the story years ago of the Henry Ford Model T cars. You remember those? Years ago, used to crank them up in the front. And this guy had one, and he was trying to get it started. Was not able to get it started. And a gentleman walked up on the side of him and said to him, "Can I help you?" He said, "Sir, I'm trying to get my car started." He continued working, and he couldn't get it started. So finally, the gentleman pitched in and began to work in it, and quickly got it started. He said, "How did you do that?" He said, "My name is Henry Ford, and I built this." Ladies and gentlemen, God's Word is the direction in which God has given us. He has built this. He has built us. He has created us. He has given us a purpose. He has given us a plan, and we need to know what is His plan. Man's plan is one thing. God's plan is another thing. So God knows what buttons to press. He knows what our issues are. And He knows exactly which way we ought to go. Yes. Quickly, I want to say this, a few things, and I wrote a booklet in regards to that. This is not something that I just came up with. This is something we've been looking at for a few years. Biblical principles of gambling is found in the book that God wrote. What? He knows. And so I want to give you some of those principles that I have written here, and quickly as I can give you a number, and then we shall sit down. But in regards to that, I think it's always good to have a definition of where we're going and what we're talking about. When we come to this definition, I want to give you a Christian definition. From a Christian standpoint, gambling is defined as unnecessarily risking the possessions which God has given us, entrusted to us in games of chance or skill, in the hope of gaining something from our neighbor without giving him a fair service or product in return. That's the definition. Getting something from our neighbor without giving him a fair share of product in return.
That's a real.
All right? Quickly now, as we move to principle number 1. Gambling contradicts the Christian's work ethic. So today, God created man, not through evolution, but through His creation. Divine hand. He gave him work to do. Work came before sin. In the Garden of Eden, Genesis 2:15. Gambling contradicts the work ethic in that the dream of the gambler is to escape work by winning the big one. He would never have to work again. Christian work ethic, however, clearly stated throughout Scripture. Proverbs 13:11. Wealth gotten by vanity shall be diminished, but he that gathereth by labor shall increase. Exodus 23, verse 12. 6 days shalt thou work. Romans 12, verse 11. Not slothful in business, fervent in the spirit. Ephesians 4:28. Let him labor, working with his hands. 2 Thessalonians 3, verse 10. This we command you, that if any would not work, neither should he eat. Well, you know what gambling does. And I don't have time to elaborate, but the principle is very clear, that as Christians we should work for what we get, not put ourselves on some limb of risk. The gambler says, I believe I should gamble for it rather than work. Principle number 2, gambling promotes the love of money. You've heard this one. 1 Timothy 6:10, for the love of money is the root of all evil. The Christians, the Bible doesn't say money is the root of all evil. No, it says the love of money. Okay? When Christians love money more than their God, their money becomes their God. And it becomes the root of all evil. As I have more to say on that, but Ecclesiastes 5:10 says, he that loveth silver shall not be satisfied with silver. See, God knows what the heart needs. We're figuring we need the money. But God, the creator, the designer, says He knows what you need. He says you'll not be satisfied with the money. That's not what you want. Again, Proverbs 23, verse 4. The wise man say, labor not to be rich. And again in Proverbs 10, verse 22, the blessings of the Lord make it rich, and he added no sorrow with it. Luke 16, verse 13, Jesus said, no man can serve two masters. Principle number 3, gambling promotes the sin of greed. Boy, Scripture says here, owe no man anything but love him. But the Scripture also goes on to say, but rather let him labor, working with his hands the thing that is good, that he may give to him that hath need. It is not right to support a practice that drives the poor deeper into the hole of poverty. Gambling takes mainly from the poor, for it is the poor who are exploited. Unfortunately, and ultimately, it is the poor who lose. Whether or not the financial loss is excessive, gamblers are basically losers. While the operators of the gambling establishments are the winners. The house always wins. And for the house to win, the majority must lose.
Amen. That's what starts the house. Amen.
Gambling in essence says, I am happy to win at the loss of others. The basic premise of gambling is not to serve others, but to gain at the expense of others. Even in cases where some financial gifts are returned to the winner, it is only a minuscule amount given to the selected few. Never is it given to all those who lost. We got stuff on that, but we're going to hold that there. Quickly, do you know how much gambling that is associated with satanic stuff? You want to know what this to play? You have to go to certain books. Ain't this book?
No.
The dream books. And then you have to go into astrology and all of these. And that is outside of the realm. It's not this book. The warehouse is not God's house. They got their own books. They got the dream books. With some spirits connected with those demons. Listen now. God loves us very much. You know why? Next door, he put a place called America. If you understand what's going on, yes, there's technology, and I agree with the gentleman who spoke earlier, who said we can't stop. I agree with you to an extent.
He stopped at 8.
You think 3,000, 4,000 people will lose their job if they both come? No. No. You know what they do? Continue. Hello? Let's be real. Be real. They will continue with the technology they have. They've been doing it before, and we broke down.
My Lord.
So if we got some,
Still be taken from the poor, and still continue taking from the poor. The government can get a little bit if they say if we do it, but it's not going to do the majority. I guarantee that. But anyway, the point is this: God put America on the side there for us. Look at it. Know what it's affecting. Know how it's affecting the divorce. Know how it's affecting child abuse. Know how it's affecting the family. Let me tell you something. If one person, when one person is murdered in this country, that's one too much. Yes. When one family is destroyed in this country, that's one too much. I cannot support anything that has the possibility of destroying one family in this country. Not one. That's right. And brother, as a pastor, as a teacher, as a principal, I can tell you what the people that have come in whose money has been gambled away.
Yes, sir.
Quickly, as I bring this to a conclusion here, quickly. Yeah, man, we have the same thing. Okay, listen. Okay, quickly. Hear me. There is a verse, and there are many verses, by the way, but there's a lot of verses. But this verse I want you to get. Ephesians 4, verse 14. That we henceforth be no more children tossed to and fro and carried about with every wind of doctrine by the sleight of men. That word sleight is a Greek word, and it means kubia. Taken from the word kubios, and it means to die. And it says we should not be caught away with the game, the die, the trick, the cube of men. Ladies and gentlemen, as I conclude, if we decide to build our country based on this referendum and say yes to gambling, we are basing this on a foundation of sand. We must also understand that there are some other things that are coming down the pipe.
Yep. I already see that. Yes.
Drugs.
Yes.
Marijuana.
My Lord.
Marijuana people can come and say, we want a referendum too.
They supplying jobs.
You know how many young men out there? I walk the streets. You know how many young out there are smoking? That's selling marijuana on the streets as I speak.
Legalize it.
Can you legalize that too?
Legalize it.
You know what? If a baby is standing up at the top of the stairway and is standing and just about 1 year, just standing looking down, you run it there quickly to stop it because not that it fell down, but the direction in which it's pointing. Ladies and gentlemen, the direction in which this gambling will take us is down. Thank you.